Peter, what's your thoughts on that one tonight then?
It's a good game of football, I'm sure, for a neutral to come and watch that game today. You know, end to end, just some of the football and the play, the two good teams going at it. It's a really good game. Delighted in the end, I think, from going, because we were behind in the game, to come away with a point. I have real contentious issue with the second goal and the manner in which it developed. But really good game.
It was an excellent game of football to watch, and I was asking some of the boys what it felt like to play in it. But as a manager, was there ups and downs throughout that?
Absolutely, yeah. I think from our point of view, Inverness started really quick. They get their goal within the first 10 minutes through a deflection. So you're setting up the players saying start quick, don't concede early, and we concede. But the way in which we deal with that, because teams that we've spoke before, where teams that concede within the first 5-10 minutes can go on to lose 3 and 4-0, because you have to then overcommit men forward as the game goes on. We got back into the game 1-1. A great goal, Kai Kennedy putting a good cross in and then evades everybody and goes in. Then we come out in the second half, the game's to and fro. I think Ross Stewart's only had really one save to make, but on the other side of that, their keeper Monroe makes an unbelievable save down to his right from a deflection too. It was all, the game was sort of played from box to box. It's just that final third, that we didn't really create too many chances, clear-cut chances. Either did Inverness. It was all hustle and bustle and players putting their bodies on the line and everybody fighting for everything. So it was good to see. But then, as we're going to get to the second goal, it comes from us on the attack. Jack Hanna goes in for a header with their centre forward, Zimba, and breaks his nose and is down under. So the clear letter of the law is you've got to stop play for a head injury. The referee's 10 yards away from it and doesn't stop it. Whereas in the first half, there was an injury to the centre forward, Zimba, just got caught in his knee. The game played on and he stopped the game then, which is not the letter of the law. So really disappointed with that. To concede a goal, two teams that are trying to push, Inverness are at the top of the league. We're trying to catch them and, push for the top of the league, where a game could have been decided by a referee. And luckily, my team's that good and good enough and believe in themselves that we get back into the game to get it back to 2-2. Now, I've got a gripe from my side, but on the other side of that, in the first half, Mikey Hewitt makes a challenge on their player that makes a running in towards our box. He's the last man. The referee gives a free kick to them, but doesn't send Mikey off, which is great for us. But from Inverness's side, I'm sure absolutely raging, because Mikey then scores the equaliser. So that's a poor refereeing decision as well, I would say. So has it evened itself out? Yeah, but with two teams going for it the way we're going for it, shouldn't be decided by a referee. Shouldn't have any influence. A good referee doesn't have any part to play in the game. Should be anonymous. But I've veered off. Apart from that, really good game of football. Delighted we've come back from a goal down twice against a really good side. The subs we make and bring on have had an impact. I thought Brennan Dickinson came on and was outstanding. Creates the goal, gets the assist, but then we had Niall Rogerson who has to come on for Jack Hanna, who with the broken nose has to go off. And Niall was immense against a really tough forward line. And then Xander, having missed a couple of weeks and only trained a day, comes on and does a great job for Mikey, who's missed all training this week because of the injury he got last week after the red card. So plenty of positives, but a few gripes that I have every week, I suppose.
Real character. We talked last week about, was that a gauge of how far the team have come, against East Fife, but today, was that another gauge of how far the team have come, and coming back twice against an Inverness side that are up the top? Yeah,
we could say that, but we haven't won the game. So yes, coming back from a goal down early on to get back into it, but then the second half again, it's another goal within the first 10 minutes. It shouldn't happen, but again, we've explained why that does happen, and it shouldn't have been a goal, should have been brought back. But then to push on near the end, I'm sure the fans have gone away absolutely delighted, thinking we've really gone for it. We're pushing and pushing near the end. Inverness are sort of hanging on, but obviously because they're riding with confidence, they're gambling with men forward as well. So it just took for one of those balls to drop for somebody. It didn't happen, but my players were a totally different animal. I said that last week than what we were earlier on the season when we went up to Inverness, the 5:30 kick-off and everything. We never even turned up. Today, players equipped themselves really well and should take a lot of confidence now going up to Cove next week.
Keeps you nicely tucked in, just behind at this stage in the season.
Yeah, but you don't want to be behind. But
no.
Again, we're still on a decent run. The only downside as well today is that we've picked up a couple of injuries. Reece Lyon looks like he took a bad one. He's in a sling in the second half on the bench. Hopefully, he's getting an X-ray tonight and see how bad that is. Jack Hanna, again with his broken nose. We've got to see how he is tomorrow, if there's any ill effects to that. And Brendan Dickinson took a sore one near the end as well. So, delighted with the impact the players have come on, but we're asking a 19 and an 18-year-old or 19-year-olds to come on and have an impact in the game of that magnitude.
It was a game, as you say, the magnitude. The sport turned out for it today and played a part. They
did. I was delighted with when you come out and the game's about to start and you hear the roar from the fans, the cheers. We had the young crowd again who I speak about nearly every week at home, cheering and keeping it going, especially towards the end, driving the players on to try and get that winner, and the belief that the players then get from that and the lift. It really does have an effect. It pushes the team, pushes the players on, and I'm sure for the fans, as I said, going away happy. So we just need them to come back. Support the club, support the team, and support the players, more importantly, because things will be tough. I'm sure everything's not going to go really, really well, but we've got supporters there behind the team, pushing them on rather than moaning about silly little things, which we do have. But yes, the supporters, especially that crowd, the young crowd, are just bouncing all the time, keeping momentum going. If we can keep that up, keep that going, it'll push us on.
But the players are now giving them something to shout about as well, which makes a difference too.
Yep, you'll say that, but then I think last season we had the best home record in the division. Are the fans coming out for that? What more could you do? This season we've had a good home record. Hopefully it's not just a big game because it's Inverness. Inverness brought a few as well. We really need the fans to come out. If I'm going to be able to bring any players in, and if I can get any money from the chairman and anything to push us on, we really do need the fans to be coming out in every week, so as then they can outlay a little bit more of that money.
Yeah, the frustrating thing today, I guess, is the fact that you were getting a full squad, or the small squad together and back, but 3 players, Brennan, Jack and Reece, kind of struggling now. Yeah,
but because we have a small squad, we have 2 keepers on the bench. Ross Stewart hasn't trained really fully during the week for 3 weeks because he has a shoulder injury. Kai Kennedy is one that we just have to try to manage through training. He needs an X-ray. See, when that happens, I think he has it on Monday, just with an injury that he has, and he's given everything. Yeah, Reece Lyon now, a little bit of an injury. Hopefully that's not too bad, but you're hoping, because we don't have those squad members, in the background to be able to come in, and if we have players on, then our bench will get really low. If we're going to push on and try and get into a title race, we need a bit of help.
And it is Cove next. What can you expect up there?
Same as what we got here. Really good football inside. They've, even before they came here, and we only scored in the 90th minute through Matty Douglas from a free kick. They play really good football. They're quite open. So for us, that's really good because we play good football, but they've got good players. They've had some good results recently. Even before we played them, they started to turn a corner. They brought some experienced players in, a Scottish international as well they brought in. So I'm expecting a tough game, but we should go up there full of confidence, see who's available, see who's ready, full of confidence to go up and try and get another 3 points.